Welcome, Emily. Emily to Gremily here with another solo episode. I want to welcome all new listeners and welcome back all returning listeners. Thanks for tuning in. The episode drink of the week. It's born out of not laziness, more like convenience. But I wanted like a summery vibe. If you guys are watching on YouTube, I am basically in a swimsuit cover up because I am trying to race out into the very hot sun after I'm done doing this. So this drink is a bubbly raspberry mixed with Tito's vodka, but of course, and then I added some frozen raspberries into it just for, I don't know. I thought I was going to give it like a pinkish reddish color. Instead, it just kind of looks like I just have floating chunks in there. Floating chunks of what? I don't know. But it is raspberries. So if you're watching on YouTube and you're wondering what that is, it's frozen raspberries. But it's really good. And I, of course, gave myself a heavy pour because why not? Okay, so we have a full episode today with Gremlin Stories, Gremlin Guidance, and Gremlin Gossip. A reminder to everyone, if you have your own Gremlin story, you need Gremlin Guidance, or you have a juicy piece of Gremlin Gossip, make sure to email that in at emilytogremlypod@gmail.com or message or DM me on social media at Emily to Gremily Pod on Instagram and TikTok. And remember to sign your name or let me know if you would like to remain anonymous. Okay, so let's get started with Gremlin Stories. Let's see, this first one comes to us from Shailene. Shailene says, Hi, I recently found your podcast and have pretty much been binging the entire series. It's great to see how you've grown and become more comfortable with each episode. Thank you for that. I have a funny yet cringy story from my undergrad days. Mind you, I must say I am a true Southern belle. I was a debutante and overall think of myself as a classy gal. During my freshman year of college, I was for the first time out on my own, away from my parents, and my wild side started to show. I had never really been able to drink, but college started and the drinks began to flow. At a party, I was drinking with my friends and playing beer pong. Eventually, a few of us needed to pee, so we all gathered in one bathroom of the sorority house. I was the last to go, and for some reason, I thought it would be funny to see if I could pee like a man. So, in a turn of events I couldn't explain today, I stood on the toilet seat and spread my legs to see if the stream would make it in the toilet. Some did, most did not. We were giggling too much to clean it up properly and shuffled back to the party. I'm sure whoever cleaned up after the party thought some disgusting guy just peed all over the seat. I do feel bad about making a mess and still don't know what possessed me to attempt this feat. I haven't done it since, thank heavens. Shailene. Ew. I'm just more thinking of the person who had to clean that up. Like, Shailene, look, we all do stupid things when we're drunk. That, again, is the point of this podcast, to hear about the dumb, stupid, and embarrassing things that we do when we are under the influence of whatever. But yeah, I'm thinking of that poor person who had to clean the bathroom. And yeah, they probably did think some gross dude just like peed, but was so drunk he couldn't like maybe see the toilet. I don't know. I'm such a neat freak that it's like if I found like pee on my toilet or like around my toilet, I would be upset. Yeah, but also I wouldn't be throwing like some big ass house party in my house because I like to keep my space clean. Again, this isn't a sorority house. I don't know what I'm talking about. Whatever. Also, I'm curious, did you pee on your feet as well? Like if it seemed to have gone everywhere. I'm assuming you were standing there and you're drunk, so you don't have like the steadiest balance. So I'm sure you were like wiggling about up there. And some of it had to have gotten on your feetsies and your shoes. Well, good for you, Shailene. Also, why did you stand on the toilet seat? Like, why didn't you just like stand like above it? Like, just like whatever. I don't know, girl. You were drunk. Why am I trying to like make sense of this? That was stupid. Okay, the next Gremlin story comes to us from Annie. Annie says, this incident technically is not my fault. I grew up in the lower class of the landlocked state of Kansas. After spending my entire young life in the Midwest, I was offered an academic scholarship to a prestigious Southern California college. I jumped at the opportunity to spread my wings and fly far away from home. After the move, I was invited to a welcome lunch and buffet for the students of my particular program. When I entered the hall, I had never seen anything so lavish in real life. The room was set up beautifully, with past hors d'oeuvres served to us on silver trays and shellfish towers placed on the cold side of the buffet. I became like a kid in a candy store. There at my fingertips were foods I had never had the chance to eat growing up, and now there were copious amounts right in front of my face. I piled my plate high with all the foods I had been deprived of as a kid. My main pride and joy was lobster. I had always thought of lobster as an opulent food of the wealthy. My first bite showed me what I was missing. That buttery goodness was divine and delicious. I decided in that moment I was going to savor every bite and go back for seconds and thirds if need be. After all, I was a broke college student now, so I needed to take advantage of every morsel of food I was offered. Unfortunately, my gluttony was cut short. My throat became itchy. I thought possibly from eating too fast. A staff member came up to me and asked if I was feeling all right. I did feel odd. She looked at my plate and asked if I was allergic to shellfish. I said I wasn't sure since it was my first time trying it. By the time campus medics had arrived, my face had swollen up and my breathing was becoming shallow. When I was finally being wheeled away, I caught a glimpse of myself and I looked like a pufferfish. The most embarrassing and worst time to find out about a new allergy. I suppose being poor my whole life prevented me from finding out the extent of my allergies. I now carry an EpiPen with me at all times and always have it in hand if I'm about to try a new food. Annie. Annie, you're right. I read that you said technically it's not my fault, I was like, yeah, right. I did not know this was going to be an allergy story though, and technically you're right, that is not your fault, because how were you ever to know that shellfish and you don't agree? And by don't agree, I mean shellfish is trying to kill you. That's terrible. I I don't think I've ever talked about this. Have I? I don't know. I black out when I do these episodes. Not because I'm drunk, just like I forget what I say. Um, I had really, really, really bad allergies as a kid. Like, it's like the nerdiest thing I think I can say about myself, other than, other things. But it's like, it just sounds like so dorky. When I was like maybe like 6 or 7, I had to start getting weekly allergy shots because my allergies were so bad. Like, I remember they put like new, like, what was, oh, it was wood chips. They put these wood chips in the playground, like, instead of like having it be like sand, they put wood chips because I don't know, I guess they thought that was like less painful to fall on. In reality, it kind of hurt more. Um, so they put wood chips there, and my allergies like burst up. Like, it was bad. Like, I couldn't go on the playground at recess. They figured out it was because of the wood chips, but then they found out I was allergic to like so many other things. It was like ridiculous, like dust, mold, which I think everybody is, but cat hair. I had a cat at the time, and I wasn't planning on not having cats the rest of my life. The list went on and on and on. Freshly cut grass was another one. What the hell is that about? Freshly cut grass, I can't be around grass. Like, just like wild shit, to where it was like my mom and Nana, they were like, okay, well, she can't go her whole life living like this. So I had an allergist that I went to, and he recommended for me to get these allergy shots. So it started, I had to get them twice a week, every week. And then I was like slowly but surely weaned off of it. So then it went down to like once a week, and then every other week, and then maybe like once a month. I forget. But I started those at like 6 years old, and I was doing them until like maybe like 11. So it was like a long period of my life. And now that I'm thinking about it, I'm wondering if that's why I have such a thing about needles. Because I remember it was like a panic every time I had to go do it. You would think I'd become desensitized to it, but it like triggered me. Like it was weird. So yeah, it was terrible. I haven't thought about that in a long time. But I mean, it did work because I'm able to be around cats now and not have sneeze attacks. I try not to be around dust because I like to keep my place clean. But I'm able to have a picnic on a freshly mowed lawn without having an attack. I do have certain allergies that like they lessened because I used to like have they were like really bad, like not anaphylactic shock bad, but just like bad, like where like I had an itchy throat, my face would like swell, I'd get hives. That was like I think my main like tell that I was having a reaction is I would get hives and get really itchy. But yeah, so the shots helped and it lessened the effects, and some of them just went away altogether. But yeah, I haven't thought about that in a while. What a sad time for such a little girl. Okay, well, Annie, sorry about your shellfish allergy. That sucks too. And you learned you loved the food and now you can't have it. That is a bummer. But yeah, always have the EpiPen with you. I also think about like trying like figuring out like if you have a kid like their allergies. Like some kids have like really bad like peanut allergies. So I've seen on TikTok these like brand new parents, they'll give their like baby peanut butter, but they're in the parking lot of a hospital just in case. Like I think that's the kind of parent I would be, because it like that'd be so scary to like figure that out at home and you're away from like medical professionals who can like actually help. I don't know. That just like gave me like unnecessary anxiety. Okay, well, now that I have anxiety, let's go into gremlin guidance. And let's have a drink since I worked myself up right now. Why did I do that? Okay, gremlin guidance. This is anonymous. Anonymous asks, oh, I remember this one now. Okay, what would be the longest or shortest you'd be willing to wait before sleeping with someone you started dating? I just recently got back in the dating game after being in a relationship for several years, and I sort of forgot how the game is played. Signed, Single in San Antonio. Okay, I feel like there isn't like a correct answer for this. Like when I chose it, I was like, oh no, it's going to be one of those that I don't have an actual answer for. The longest or shortest I'd be willing to wait, I don't know. I think it just kind of depends on like the person. Me personally, back when I had morals, I would try to wait. I was trying to think back on this. It was so long ago. That makes me sound bad. I remember like going out with this guy, and I remember I specifically wore ugly underwear just so I didn't have a chance to want to take off my pants. And it worked. So do with that information what you will. It's a good tip. But yeah, I remember I did that. And yeah, so maybe I made that guy wait like 3 or 4 dates, but I can't remember. It was so long ago. And then I got a little loose with my morals, which makes me sound like a slut, but whatever. And okay, so and then I've been out of the dating game for like 8 years. So I don't know. I think that there isn't like a set time you should or shouldn't wait. I think it should just be like whatever you're comfortable with. Like if you want to sleep with a guy right away, you do you, boo. Or if you want to make him wait and work for it, that's cool too. I think you should just do whatever you want, whatever you're comfortable with. Make sure he's not pressuring you into doing anything you don't want to do too quickly. Just, I don't know. I think it depends on each person and the person that they're with. So I don't have an answer for this one. And also, it's been a really long time since I've had to do this as well. So, what I would do today, I have no idea. Hopefully, I don't have to find out. Okay, so let's move on to gossip. I know that was only one guidance, and I think last week only had one guidance as well. But there is a reason I'm saving guidance questions, and you will find out shortly. But yeah, the guidance questions, they'll be coming up a little more frequently soon. But I've just been doing one guidance question per week just because I'm kind of saving the questions up. So still send those in. It's not like I'm getting rid of the category. I'm just saving and banking them at the moment. Okie dokie. So gremlin gossip. This first one comes to us from Edie. And Edie says, Would you like to hear the dumbest thing a man has ever done to me? Of course. I went to my 10-year high school reunion and reconnected with several people I hadn't seen or spoken to since graduation. We all had each other on Instagram and Snapchat, but that was the extent of the communication. One person I was excited to see was my chemistry lab partner. He was always so cute and nerdy, but extremely shy. Over the past 10 years, he became even cuter. Still shy, but at least I was able to have a full conversation with him. We decided to make plans to go out to dinner the following week. We messaged each other several times over text and Snapchat. Snapchat mainly to bring it back to the nostalgic flirting of high school. So we're on our date, having dinner, and everything is going really well. He's sweet, charming, extremely chivalrous, and the whole time I'm thinking, did I just find my forever person? In between dinner and dessert, he excuses himself to go to the bathroom. While he's gone, I check my phone, and that's when I get a Snapchat message. It's from him. I curiously opened it, thinking maybe he was sending something funny from the bathroom. Well, he was in the bathroom, but the message was most definitely not intended for my eyes. It's a video of him in the bathroom saying, quote, "Finally gonna bang that hottie from the reunion." I almost dropped my phone from the shock. Another message pops up. It's a selfie with a condom in his hand with the caption, "Wonder if I can get away with not using this tonight." I almost fell out of my damn chair. This was the complete opposite of the man who was just sitting across from me being so sweet. While trying to decide if I should get up and leave or slap him on the spot, I saw him walking towards the table. I quickly composed myself, trying to figure out what to say. He sits down and asks if I would like to get a drink next door. I smiled at him and said, "Yeah, and then maybe afterwards you can finally bang that hottie from the reunion." His face turns white, and before he can speak, I say, "Maybe you can get away with not using that condom in your wallet." I have never seen a person go through so many emotions in a matter of seconds and turn ghost white. He begins groveling, saying he's sorry. It was just meant for his guy friends, and he didn't mean any of it. I just collected my things and told him he should learn how to use Snapchat, and I left. What an idiot. You know, not all men, but men, they're such goddamn pigs. Like, what is wrong with you? She was having a great time with this great guy, and he goes into the bathroom and decides, first of all, why are you thinking about your buddies and Snapchatting them at all? You're on a date with this great girl, and you decide to run to the bathroom and like bro out with your fucking homies. And and how many people did you send that message to? It seemed like you meant to send it to like a select few. Did you send it to your whole contact list? You fucking Momo? I'm so confused. Okay, look, admittedly, I don't really know much about Snapchat because I remember I made one and then never used it and then just deleted the app. So I don't know how to use Snapchat. But that's fine because I'm not being a fucking moron and using it and sending messages to people unintentionally. What a fucking idiot. And even though that sucks that you had to see that, at least you found out right away, basically, that he was just another douchebag guy. But that does suck. It's like, what is he thinking? I just put myself in that situation. I just got so mad. And yeah, like, I think you handled it perfectly because you could have slapped him. You could have made a scene in the restaurant, which I 100% condone because, like, what an amazing sight to see. And that would have really embarrassed him in front of everybody. But the fact you were able to use his own words against him, chef's kiss, no notes. That was the best revenge you could get because like I can picture like just like his face drained of all the color and like his heart fell into his ass. Like he was just like, "Oh my god, what did I do?" Perfect. Great revenge. And it's quick on your feet, girl. Quick on your feet. That was great. Can you reopen Snapchat messages? I feel like you can't. So it's a good thing you remembered exactly what he said. Again, I don't know much about Snapchat. But it's not because I'm like too old for Snapchat. It's just I just never used it or got into it. Okay. Well, Edie, job well done. Perfect. Perfect. The next one is anonymous. And this one is, I don't know the words for it. I included it because I was aghast when I read it. I went through a really full range of emotions reading it into I couldn't decide if it was right or wrong. I don't know. Let's have a drink and then I will read it. And I feel like it's going to have like discussions with it. Let's start. Let's start with a drink. Okay, so this comes to us from Anonymous. Anonymous says, "Please keep me anonymous. This gossip makes me look conniving and evil, but I don't really care. Back in high school, I wasn't cool. I was a shy nerd who kept to herself, which of course made me the target of the popular clique who made themselves feel better by making my life miserable. One specific girl was the leader and queen bee who made fun of me every time she saw me. I'm not talking about just regular high school teasing. One particular day, the school was serving pizza for lunch. When I walked in the cafeteria, she got her mean group of girls and boys to throw pizza at me, calling me pizza face because I had bad acne. I was miserable and went home crying most days. When I moved away for college, I was able to get the fresh start I so greatly craved. I flourished in a new environment and had an extreme glow up. My skin cleared, I lost some extra poundage, I learned how to dress and do my makeup. I felt like an ugly duckling who turned into a swan. I rarely went back home due to the bad memories. I was happy in my new life, new city, with my new friends who built me up. But every now and then, I would check the social media profiles of my former bullies. Queen Bee was, of course, married and had a couple of kids. I don't know why I would look. Maybe I was hoping she was miserable. Unfortunately, years after high school graduation, my grandfather became sick, and I was told to come home and say my goodbyes. I stayed in town for a couple of weeks, living at a hotel since my childhood home was full. After the funeral, and on one of my last nights in town before going home, I decided to take myself out for a drink to clear my mind. While sitting at the bar, a man sat next to me, smiled, and said hi. He looked weirdly familiar. I talked with him and we didn't go to school together. But then it clicked. I checked Instagram to make sure, and I was right. It was Queen Bee's husband. I almost excused myself to leave, but something stopped me. I sat there stewing, thinking of all the names she called me, how I would spend my nights crying over the day's events and dreading the next school day. So I stayed. I flirted. After a few drinks, I made mention of his wedding ring. He said, quote, "This could be our little secret." I invited him to my hotel room and decided this was my revenge. Afterwards, he drunkenly fell asleep, so I decided to take it one step further. I took a picture of us in bed together, making sure his face was clear as day. I saved it in my phone until I got back home safely, hundreds of miles away. I periodically checked Queen Bee's Instagram, and when I saw they were on a family trip together, I texted him the picture with many messages saying I was missing him and I would be back in town soon. I later saw she was posting inspirational quotes and using the hashtag single mom. Is what I did horrible? Yes. Do I regret it? No. My compassion and empathy for her disappeared the moment that pizza slice hit my face in the middle of the cafeteria. Anonymous. Okay. I struggled with this one because, on one hand, I can see where you just broke. You were like, it's so terrible. Like, those are formative years, and to be torn down to such a low point, and then you, in order to build yourself up, you have to move away. It's just like I'm empathizing with you on that. But it's like I'm struggling. I understand the revenge and how revenge is just so goddamn sweet. But so, I feel like I'm in the camp of I think revenge is best served by just living such a full and complete and happy life and letting those other people know that you didn't break me and I'm fine and I'm thriving. But at the same time, that's a hell of a revenge. You revenge fucked her husband and then made sure she found out. It made you feel better. So I guess you got what you wanted. And I can't say what I would or wouldn't do in that situation because fortunately, knock on wood, I've never been and hopefully never will be in a position where somebody makes me feel so terrible about myself. And I've never been in that mental state before. And I do believe everyone has their karma, everyone has their comeuppance, and it seems like this was hers because this is like this is mean shit. Like I feel like this is something you see in the movies of like high school bullying, and I know that bullying exists in real life too. It's just I came from a high school where I remember watching Mean Girls when it came out, and I was in elementary school, and I was scared like, oh my god, is that what high school is going to be like? And I was lucky; I had a really great high school experience, and I could be wrong because I didn't live everyone's life in high school, but I felt like the high school bullying, it didn't really exist at my high school, so I can't imagine there's no way it existed on this kind of level where they're throwing food at somebody and making them feel just oh so small, and to do that to someone and just like make someone a target of just like incessant bullying, and you're embarrassing them in front of the entire cafeteria and you're throwing food at them and you're calling them names, and you're thriving on the fact that this person is just being taunted endlessly. Is this what she deserved? I don't know. I'm not here to judge. I'm not the judge and the jury. I am just basically the messenger. And if you feel better about it, then you got your revenge, and that's that. Would I have done the same thing? No. I would just make sure that all these people knew that I was living a fantastic life, that I was happy and thriving and had people around me that were worth having around me. Like I said, I feel like the best revenge is just living your life complete and to the fullest. Again, being said, I don't know what it's like to be in this mental state and to have been bullied so horribly. So while I don't approve of it, I do understand it. And Anonymous, you you got it's not like you went in thinking I'm going to go find the husband and do this. He did happen upon you, and obviously he's a pig, and I'm sure you're not the first person he's cheated on his wife with. You're just the first person he got caught with. Or maybe she's caught him before and this was the straw that broke the camel's back. I don't know. Either way, I thought it was a good gossip. And yeah, I guess we can have some discourse about this, and you guys can let me know your thoughts and opinions on what she did. Do you agree with it? Do you disagree with it? Do you understand it? Do you think it was morally wrong? Do you think she was justifiable? I would love to know your thoughts. And Anonymous, like I said, I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to say, "Oh my god, what you did was terrible. How dare you?" You did what you thought was right. And yeah, I was debating putting this in because I didn't know how I was going to address it, I guess is where I'm going with this. But I thought it was a good gossip and could forward a conversation, and you guys can discuss your thoughts and feelings about it. And I wonder if Queen Bee is listening right now. And if you are, how dare you throw pizza at someone's face and taunt them? How dare you? So, yeah, Anonymous, I'm going to have another drink for you because I hope the younger you is healed and you can now put the past behind you. And now we just move forward and we live a full, happy, and complete life. Okay, that's the end of our episode. Maybe I should have switched the stories around, but oh well, too late. I don't feel like redoing this. If you would like to follow myself on social media, you may do so on Instagram and TikTok at Emily to Gremily Pod. If you'd like to watch this episode and almost all the past episodes, you may do so on YouTube at Emily to Gremily Pod on YouTube. If you have your own gremlin story, you need gremlin guidance, or you have a juicy piece of gremlin gossip, make sure to email that in at emilytogrimlypod@gmail.com or message or DM me on social media, whichever you prefer, and let me know if you'd like to remain anonymous or not. A call to action I'm saying at the end of every episode. If you have any topic or theme suggestions or guest suggestions, somebody you'd like to see and hear on this podcast, email those suggestions in at emilytogrimlypod@gmail.com, or again, message or DM me on social media, whichever you prefer. And remember to like, follow, share, subscribe, rate 5 stars, do all the things. We're going to cheers out with our raspberry vodka sparkling water drink. I don't know what to call it. It's sparkly, it's summery, and I'm going to go outside and work on my tan. So cheers to you, cheers to me, and cheers to Anonymous. I hope you have found peace. Cheers, you guys. Bye.